before. She's been in the audience where you guys were sitting, and she's going to present us with her company, and then we'll do a Q&A afterwards. So give her a round of applause.
Thank you all. I am Janice McCoy, and I am the founder of Gold Mine Inspirations. I first want to thank the Clubhouse and 1 Million Cups for having me. Every time I get an opportunity to speak, then I take that opportunity, and I really appreciate you all for that, so thank you. And thank you all for being here this morning. I started Gold Mine Inspirations, let me not step on this. I started Gold Mine Inspirations this year in March, and I started it a little earlier than I wanted to start it because a lot of people in other groups that I'm a part of asked me to mentor them. And I thought, well, mentoring one by one would be more time consuming. So what I said, if you all would get together in a group that we already meet in a hotel and get together, I would create a package and a presentation and discuss some things you want to discuss and put that together for a fee. And they agreed, so they paid me a fee. So I said, well, this is the goodest time as any to start Gold Mine Inspirations because I've already received funds for it, and so you'll be accountable for that. So I started a little earlier, but I've always wanted to start an empowerment speaking business, which is what Gold Mine Inspirations is. And empowering people is sort of what I do naturally and encourage, but also for personal reasons. And what I'm going to do is tell you today about 3 of the presentations and workshops I give for the sake of time, not all of them. And I have some speaker one sheets up here, and I also have business cards. But speaking is near and dear to my heart because of my past and my history. And I only speak on things that I have expertise in or a lot of experience. And the first one I'm going to tell you about is the one that you see here, and then I'll tell you about the others. There are 3 that I'm speaking about, although I'll speak about other different subjects. But the one that's near and dear to my heart is the making of a great parent advocate. Many are called, but few are chosen. Me and my husband are parents of 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. Our first 2 sons were born with a developmental disability years ago, back in the 90s, when no one really wanted anything to do with it, didn't know much about it. So, you know, I've had a lot of challenges with that, me and my husband, and we were being military, so we moved a lot and found challenge after challenge. But once we got stationed here permanently in 2001 is when we retired here in Augusta, Georgia. And I said, I'm going to start doing more advocacy. I did advocacy in Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, Kentucky, so we've been all over the place and overseas. But once we got stabilized, I thought it was important for me to go ahead and do something for that. So for 8 years, here at the CSRA, I had a parent support group for parents who have children with developmental disabilities called Common Bond Parent Support Group. And over those 8 years, I've met a lot of parents who have challenges with raising, and most of the challenges you would think come from raising a child with a disability, but the majority comes from society. But I speak to parents a lot about that, so when I do the presentation on the making of a great parent advocate, many are called if you are chosen, what I want parents to understand is this: you're not special. Your child is not special, but your assignment is. And what they are to do is to make an impact in this world, become an agent of change. And by observation alone, by the way they live their life, what people should perceive is that it should completely destroy the excuses of everybody else without those challenges. You are here for a purpose, and a lot of parents don't understand that. Whether you want to be or not, you're an advocate. You're in that role now. You've been entrusted with this child to do what you need to do for them and to pull out their potential and to change the world and make an impact. And so once parents understand that, and for 8 years of me saying that to different parents and meeting several over a period of time, they kind of come to grips and realize that this is what they need to do, and they see their role very differently, and I can see immediate substantial improvement when people finally click for that particular parent. So that's one that's very near and dear to my heart. But another one that I have a presentation and workshop about is, it's called How to Effectively Serve on Boards and Councils. Through all of my advocacy efforts, I've been able to serve in a lot of places. For 6 years, I served on a board right here for the state, a state board. Today it's called Department of Behavior, Health, and Developmental Disabilities Advisory Panel. But when I served on for 6 years, it was MHDD-AD, Mental Health, Developmental Disabilities, and Addictive Diseases. I served 6 years, and the last 2 years of that I chaired. And also, I had the amazing event to be selected by Governor Deal, appointed by Governor Deal to Georgia Council on Developmental Disabilities. In 2003, I served on that same board when it was called Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities, coming in right when Gora Barnes was leaving. I came right in 2003 and served as an ex officio, which is just an advisor to that particular same council I was later appointed to by Governor Deal. So I have a lot of experience on boards and councils. I've served on other areas in different states, and so there's an effective way. To serve on boards and councils, and there's an ineffective way to serve on boards and councils. And some of the things that I talk about during that speech and presentation is how the council and board is always supposed to stay the leader of what's going on to make the decisions. There's a subtle, slight way that if council members and board members are not careful, the staff will end up leading the council. And there's subtle ways that I talk about that you can see that happening, but sometimes it's because of staggered terms. Some boards and councils don't pay attention to sometimes what's in the bylaws. And if everybody don't have staggered terms, meaning everybody's not on at the same time and off at the same time, you don't have everybody that's seasoned been on there forever. And so you won't get new ideas if everybody is seasoned and been on there forever. You need new and some that are seasoned. If everybody's new, they're not going to know what to do. So I tell people how to safeguard against those things that weaken a board. The third one I'm going to tell you about is me and my husband. We own 4 businesses. This is the 4th one. And I said, hey, this needs to be our last business. This is the 4th one. But actually, I thought about a great 5th one for next year. 2020 is going to be amazing. Watch it. But so I'm thinking about that. But the person who said, like I was telling a young lady earlier, the person that says jack of all trades, master of none, isn't getting up early enough and doesn't know how to plan. But anyway, once your businesses hit that momentum, then you can go ahead and do other things. But the next one I speak about, that I'm going to tell you about, is it's called What Every New Entrepreneur Should Know, the Business Side of Business. The first business I started a real McCoy Brokerage years ago when we crashed in 2008 because I saw opportunity because of the deals that were done in 2004 and 5. So I smelled the rain and the flood coming. And so then I started my own business in 2008. And sure enough, in 2010, I received a HUD contract. And I've been with them for 9 years with 3 different asset managers, putting in proposals each time and getting hired. So I started Real McCoy Brokerage, which help people buy and sell properties, and I'm a HUD listed broker under that. I think this is going to be my last year with them because it's extremely detailed. And if I freed up enough time, I can probably start a 6th business. But anyway. Also, we have an investment business. We buy property, and I only buy, I usually just buy, I never pay for anything residential above $26,350. And commercial, no more than $70,000. But there's some great deals out there. I don't believe in flipping. I believe in holding on to the property so you get your money back twice, in my opinion. And I teach people how to do that, which is what people put me to, wanted to put the group together for. So that's the second business. The third one is my husband was, and I won't say the company, A Dynamic. He beat me one time in sales, and in used car sales for one of the major dealerships here. He sold 275 a year plus. Before he left, and we're going to do an article on him, somebody from Atlanta, but didn't pan out. But he wanted to reach 300 before he left, but he only got to like 290 something. But anyway, he was so great, I said, hey, I'm going to find you some land in a building, and you're going to do this for us. And so we did that. So we opened up a small car dealership on 2 acres of land that had a building, and I got that one for $70,000. But anyway, so that's the third one, and so he's doing great with that. And we mostly do brokering with that. And we found out that that kind of just turned out to be the niche because past customers would want to come and just kind of, do brokering instead of just, they decided to do brokering because of past customers. The fourth one is this one, and I'm not going to tell you the fifth one because I never tell people about the one that's coming up because they may take my ID. But I wanted to go ahead and get it started first. But those are the 3 that I will tell you about. But what I teach you, the new entrepreneur, what every new entrepreneur should know, and business side of business is this. I see a lot of investors that start up businesses and mostly in real estate and other things. And what they don't really understand is you've got to focus on the business side of the business. Most people get involved and absorbed in their passion of operating the business and doing the business. Don't forget that in businesses, your paperwork has paperwork. And that paperwork will develop new paperwork. And you got to get comfortable. A lot of people are not comfortable talking with the IRS. Always talk with the IRS, be friendly. They are not the boogeyman under the bed. They really do want to help you out. So anytime you talk to one, especially if you call them, you get their name, and it's important that you get that ID number right behind the name. That can make or break a situation. Also, I teach this, this is just a few things, that a lot of times it's important to get all your professionals, your CPA and your attorney, and you keep them in their own lane. What are you going to do when the CPA disagrees with the attorney? You're going to keep them in their lane. Let the CPA do CPA stuff and the attorney do attorney things. But so know that, and the most important thing that I do teach is that, and I saw a lot of issues with this when an investor would buy a house, they don't understand they're in business. So by being in business, once you buy that first house that you don't live in, your business. And they said, why? Because you're taking money for rent. And what I'm flipping, well, you're paying somebody more than $600 to fix up the place. You need to start doing, and I always refer them to CPAs and attorneys. I stay in my line too. I have a list of attorneys and CPAs I refer them to and say, hey, you need to know your business. You're paying somebody, you need to give them get a W-9, you need to give them a 1099 at the end of the year if you pay them $600 or more. Now, to that, if you're an LLC and in a partnership, you cannot be an employee. Don't put yourself on payroll. And so you'll see that then they have to go back and correct things, then they have to call the IRS because I already filed or something like that. So I'm trying to help prevent that because I kept seeing it over and over, and they kept telling me those stories when we had the training and the presentation. But so I tell things like that. But so there are some other presentations I do, and there's a speaker one sheet, you can look at that. But I'm just going to tell you about 3 for the sake of time. And so I hope I have not went over my time for somebody keeping minutes out. But anyway. But that is the gist of it, and I have sheets to pass out for it. You can see the other classes on there. Like I said, I don't speak about anything that I don't know, and that is my expertise and experience. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
Got a comment.
Okay.
I'd just like to say that I commend you for, one, knowing your passion. I think it's evident that you can feel the energy from you here, and for a lot of speakers that's hard to do, so I think that's very admirable. But two, I think most importantly, and this is something I posted about this morning, is you're not afraid to take action.
Right. Yes.
Did y'all catch that? She had an idea, and she took action. And what happened? It all worked out.
That's right.
And now you're working on business number 5.
Yes, indeed.
So I think that's very commendable, and I just wanted to mention that.
Hey, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream, and when he wakes up, he loses that.
That is, that's going on for it.
Yes, yes, one good
So how do you, when starting your different businesses, deal with fear of stepping outside of your boundaries?
You feel the fear and you do it anyway. Do it while the fear is there. You have to immobilize yourself and move and do it. What always paralyzes people is you can stay in the hope phase forever. People, oh, I wish. You can stay there forever. Before you know it, years have passed. But I believe everybody is a leader. And people say, well, who's the follower? You're a leader in your gifted area. Whatever your gifted area is, that's where you lead. And you lead from that. So, you feel the fear, you move forward, you ignore it. And what you'll find out is when you go ahead and do it, the fear leaves by itself. And not only that, this is the one thing, there is an enemy out there that is after all of us. It's very subtle and goes unnoticed. That enemy is called average. There's an enemy called average. And that book is by John L. Mason. Million copies sold. I recommend getting that. It's not one you have to read in sequential order. That's the beautiful thing about his books. You can open the page and read what he calls a nugget. Amazing. When I get to my next business, I might bring one for everybody just for the sake of doing it. I like to encourage entrepreneurs to move and go. And I just mentioned this because I'm just thinking about just Monday, I lost my nephew that was 22 years old, passed away in his sleep, had all kinds of dreams and goals. You don't know your day, your moment, you're nothing. And so we're planning that now, and I may fly back, but I have some things that I just can't break for, and my sister's very understanding, but it was such a shock to us at 22 years old. But I mention that because you never know. You never know. And see, and Les Brown is one that says most of our dreams and everything is of people is unfortunately in the grave. And I don't say that to get all spooky and quiet and weird. I say that to let me give an upbeat. Shalom, give me an upbeat.
Okay, so this is my friend, dear friend, mentor, and I can vouch for her. She's not just having business, but they're successful. I met her in real estate, and so I vouch for her. But the question I want to ask is, how can we help you?
Oh yes, well, you can get me speaking engagements. Read the speaker wooden sheet, and if you can, we'll set up a presentation. I would love that. I enjoy that. I always enjoy encouraging people and seeing them along the way. Even sometimes, I've spoken at a small community college to a group of teachers, and I flew out and did that because I really wanted them to understand what it's like to be a parent of a child with a developmental disability, particularly an adult. And I'll go ahead and tell my age. I'm 53 years old, but my oldest son, me and my husband married at 19. Now see, now when you give somebody a mic, things just start spilling out. But my son is 33, my oldest son. But if someone had told me they would be, and my second one is 31, 33, 31, my daughter's 30, and that's it. But if someone told me they would be where they are today, working in the business fluently, my son lost language at 3.5. Scariest thing ever. And then my other son never spoke until he was about 7, and we could understand that. But now they don't have the fluency of speech we have. It is still, they don't have the fluency, it's still kind of robotic, but still, to see all the behaviors go without the psychotropic medications that I fought for. Everybody wanted to put them on medication. I sat home for over 15 years making sure that didn't happen. And I fought everybody that challenged me. But anyway, today, now they no medications whatsoever. I did ABA before ABA was ABA at home. You have to do that. But I was fortunate enough to have a husband that worked and I didn't have to worry about finances. But anyway, I'm talking too long, she said.
You're good, you're good.
Any other questions?
I want to give you a round of applause. And here's the infamous coffee koozie mug.
Thank you.
She has some flyers and some business cards up here. So if you want more information, if you have, sounds like what you want is an opportunity to speak at other places.
Yes. Oh,
So-
I've been speaking for years, but I want to speak for pay now.
Okay, speaking for pay is good. And then she has some business cards as well.